You've been giving men the wrong compliments your whole life, and the worst part, they're not even hearing them. In fact, most of what you're saying is making zero impact. But today, I'm giving you 10 forbidden compliments that flip a hidden switch in his brain. Compliments so powerful, they make him feel a magnetic pull toward you, and only you. Most women think men only want to hear they're handsome or strong. But here's the truth. Men remember the words that make them feel irreplaceable. When you tell him, "You make me feel safe in a way I can't explain," it's not just a compliment, it's an imprint. And when you casually whisper, "You're not like anyone I've ever met," his mind replays it for days. These aren't empty flirts, they're emotional anchors. By the end of this video, you'll have a secret arsenal of compliments that make a man light up like no one else can. Before I reveal all 10, tell me in the comments, what's the one compliment you've given a guy that made his face completely change? I'll share the most powerful ones in a future video, so leave yours below. A woman who knows the weight of her words never needs to raise her voice. Let that settle for a moment, my friends, because in a world where everyone is shouting to be noticed, the most unforgettable women are the ones who don't make noise. They shift the atmosphere just by being there. That's the kind of energy we're stepping into today. This isn't about playing games, memorizing lines, or forcing chemistry. This is something deeper, something ancient, something every high-value woman carries within her, whether she realizes it or not. So before we dive deeper, press that like button and hit subscribe, not for me, but for the version of you that already knows she's done chasing love. She's ready to become unforgettable. Hey ladies, imagine this. You walk into a softly lit room. No one notices you at first. No dramatic entrance, no noise, no performance. But the moment you step in, something shifts, like the air changed, like the lighting adjusted without a switch being touched. That's what feminine presence feels like. You didn't say a word, but something in you landed. Now compare that to what most women have been taught their whole lives. Be sexier, be cooler, be chill. Don't be needy. Say something flirty, but not too flirty. Text him back fast, but not too fast. Don't show too much interest, but don't be distant either. Exhausting, right? You're not alone. You were handed a script written by people who thought attraction lived in performance, but true connection, real memory, it doesn't live in noise, it lives in vibration. You don't need louder words, you need words that land. Let that echo for a moment, because the women who stay in a man's mind, the ones who truly live in his memory long after the moment is gone, they don't say more. They say it differently, with calm, with a kind of soft command that doesn't ask for attention, it draws it. This isn't about seduction, it's about imprint. It's about creating quiet waves in his subconscious that replay when he's alone in traffic, when he's lying in bed, when he's walking through his day and suddenly you flash across his mind. You don't make that kind of impact by being agreeable or easygoing. You make it by knowing who you are, what you bring, and how to use your words like music, not just noise. Let's be honest, most women aren't overlooked because they aren't good enough. They're overlooked because they were taught to shrink, to second guess, to soften their truth into something more digestible, to become polite echoes instead of bold voices. But that stops here. Today we're flipping the script. You're gonna learn how to speak in timing, in texture, in quiet confidence. You're going to learn how to make him feel you before he even understands why, and remember you long after the words have faded. Because you're not here to be chosen, you're here to be felt. You're not here to play it safe. You're here to make a man pause mid-sentence, tilt his head and wonder, who is she? So stay with me, we're just getting started, and trust me, what comes next will change how you speak, how you move, and how you stay on his mind. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't, not because you need more content, but because you're ready to remember who you are. Let's go. The most magnetic women don't perform, they evoke. A woman who performs is remembered for a moment. A woman who evokes, she's remembered without explanation. That's the space we're entering now. Because, let's be real, so many women are out here performing, crafting the perfect message, practicing what to say, rehearsing when to laugh or when to hold back. It's like you're auditioning for a role in a play called Love Me Maybe, but the truth is, he's not looking for a performance. He's searching for a pulse, something real, something unexpected, something he can feel, and that only comes from presence. Picture this with me. Two women walk into the same room. One is polished, perfect, her smile rehearsed, her charm preloaded. She compliments, she flirts, she laughs at all the right moments, she's magnetic. For a minute, the second woman, she says almost nothing at first, but her presence is still, her eyes carry depth, her posture speaks before her mouth does, and when she does talk, it's slow, intentional. Like every word she speaks costs something sacred. Guess who he can't stop thinking about later? Guess who lingers in his imagination? The one who wasn't performing. The one who was simply being. Performance skims the surface. Presence sinks into the subconscious. You might wonder, but if I don't say something clever, won't he lose interest? That's the lie you've been taught. That you need to impress a man to keep him. That you need to be witty or charming or smooth. But impact doesn't come from charm, it comes from truth. Carl Jung said, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are, not who you were trained to be, not who you think he wants, not the watered-down version of you designed to keep the peace. You don't need to be clever, you need to be congruent, your voice matching your truth, your words in sync with your energy. That's what hits. That's what lands. Ever notice how some women talk endlessly but leave nothing behind? And then another woman says one sentence and it stays with you? That's not vocabulary, that's vibration. When a woman speaks from grounded truth, from clear, calm alignment, she doesn't just enter the conversation, she enters his nervous system. Most men won't even be able to explain it. They'll just say, she felt different. Not loud, not polished, just real. This is your reminder to stop overdoing it. Stop layering yourself with charm and effort and performance. You don't need to be the most interesting woman in the room, just the most true. Because performance fades, but presence, that lingers. The woman who knows how to be still, who speaks from soul instead of strategy. She's not just memorable, she's undeniable. So ask yourself this, are you speaking to be heard or are you speaking to be felt? Because what's coming next, it's not about clever lines. It's about the language beneath the words, the pause behind the phrase, the moment when he leans in, not because you were perfect, but because you were profoundly real. Stay with me. What you're about to learn next will change how you speak to a man's subconscious, and why you don't need noise to make him echo with your presence. Most words don't land because they only speak to his ears, but real impact, that speaks to his memory. You see, the unconscious mind doesn't respond to logic, it responds to feeling. It reacts before the brain even catches up. And that, my friends, is where so many women get it wrong. They speak with politeness when they should speak with presence. They talk to his head when they should talk to his gut. You were raised to be clear, be nice, be safe. You say things like, how was your day? Or, I really like you. Thinking that being direct means being close. But here's the thing. Logic doesn't stir the heart. It doesn't fuel desire. And it definitely doesn't keep you replaying in a man's mind at 2 a.m. because real attraction, the kind that sticks, it lives in the part of the brain that doesn't speak English. It speaks image, emotion, symbol. Here's a metaphor. Imagine an old radio. You're turning the dial trying to find the right station. Most women are speaking on a frequency that only skims the surface. But when you shift the dial just a little, when you speak in sensation, in softness, in suggestion, you land on a frequency that cuts through, Suddenly, he's listening, without even knowing why. That's the magic of symbolic language. So instead of saying I like you, try something like, something about you makes the chaos feel quiet. Boom. That doesn't just land, it lingers. It's not about making perfect sense. It's about making deep feeling. You might wonder, but what if he doesn't get it? He might not, but he'll feel it. And feelings stay way longer than facts. You're not here to explain, you're here to plant a seed, one that blooms when he least expects it. Carl Jung also said, the psyche is image, not words, not bullet points, but vivid emotion. So when you speak in metaphor, in grounded sensuality, in imagery that whispers rather than shouts, you're not just talking, you're imprinting. You're not trying to impress, you're leaving a trace. Because it's never just the words, it's the emotion underneath, the picture they leave behind. That's what rises up in him later, suddenly, unexpectedly, like a scent he can't name, but doesn't want to lose, didn't even know he missed. This is your shift, from linear to layered, from obvious to unforgettable, from a woman who speaks to a woman who lingers. And now we're going deeper into how to craft these moments on purpose without sounding poetic, fake, or too polished. Because once you learn to speak in symbols, even your silences start to echo. Stay close, this is where it gets alchemical. The power of symbolic speech. Say less, reveal more. Words that touch the heart don't beg to be remembered, they become part of the memory itself. That's the secret of symbolic speech. Most women want to be understood. Magnetic ones, they want to be felt. Because when you speak in images, metaphors, and quiet invitations instead of plain facts, you're not just talking, you're creating an imprint, a moment that doesn't just exist once but stays, quietly pulsing